All right, we should be recording.
Yes, it is recording now.
Okay, and are we going to be sent a link? It looks like I'm still not able to record on my side.
Yes, you won't be able to record on your end, but once we have the recording, we most likely will post it or add it to our website.
Okay, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Hey, Brad, because we don't have that much time, I think you need to get started.
All right. Well, this is a pretty solid group then to get started with. So then we'll get started. Hello, everybody. Thank you all so much for coming to our virtual tour today. My name is Brad. I'm a current student here at Uccs, and I study mechanical engineering. I'm also from Colorado Springs, Colorado, where I'm coming to you live. One fun fact about me is that I grow pineapple plants. You can actually see one right here. It's my pineapple plant. So if you have a question and you don't remember my name, be like, hey, pineapple guy, I have a question. That totally works. And so now just to give you a little bit of a brief overview for the plan for today. We're planning on doing about an hour for our tour. And we'll be going through seeing a lot of the academic buildings, as well as a lot of the student life side of campus. And at the very end, we do have an admissions staff on the call, so you'll be able to ask or get answered any of those kind of more specific questions that you might have. And throughout the tour, what we're going to do for asking questions is if you could please raise your hand in Zoom. There's a feature where if you go to the participants tab in Zoom, and you go above your name, then you can raise your hand. And then I'll see that, and I'll be able to answer your questions. So that should go pretty smoothly. You can use, or you could raise your hand or clap or thumbs up, and I'd probably still see it and answer your questions. And one quick reminder also before we get started, you were sent a map with your email and reminder for today's tour. So if you pull up that map, then it'll be really helpful for you as we go along through the virtual tour. I'm not seeing any questions as we're getting started here, so we'll get started. We're going to start our virtual tour today in Centennial Hall. Centennial Hall is the building home to our departments for chemistry, biochemistry, and anthropology. One of the really cool features of Centennial Hall is its labs. We have a picture right here that I can show you. And UCCS is a little bit of a smaller university. So that means that there's a lot more opportunities for undergraduate students to get involved in research. And the picture that we're seeing right here on the screen, this is actually a teaching lab though. So these are students who are in their class working for their grades and actually doing and applying the science that they learned in their lectures. We have another view here that we're also going to show. Going to see a little bit of the inside of Centennial Hall. And so this is the main floor where you would find your chemistry labs. And they're really easy to find actually because they all have that red door like we're seeing on the screen. But then the other really cool feature of Centennial Hall is the Science Excel Center. So just straight down this hallway, we have one of our Excel centers. And these are tutoring centers that you would find all over campus, and they're themed with various academic subjects. So here in Centennial Hall is the Science Excel Center. and you can get help in like science-related topics. If you want help with physics homework, this is the place to go. If you want to study for a biology test, the tutors here are students who have taken the classes that you're taking, so they know how to help you really well. Plus, they have free coffee. So if that doesn't get you in the door, I don't know what does. But yes, that's Centennial Hall. I have some friends that do chemistry, and they really enjoy the classes that they have in there. But we're going to continue on. We're going to see a little bit of a more social space next. So if you look out on your map, you're going to see that coming just right out of Centennial Hall, the building right across that we're seeing on the screen right now, you come into an area known as the Upper Plaza. And it's just a really nice open space outside where you can eat food, relax with your friends, or just enjoy the beautiful weather. But there's one really neat feature that I'd like to take time to point out right now, though. So over across the Upper Plaza, there's an umbrella that looks a little bit different. And that's because it's actually a sunbrella, which may sound kind of weird, but it's an umbrella with solar panels. And you can see them there. So you can hang out outside and charge your laptop or your phone all at the same time. This is just one of the really cool sustainability features that UCCS has. Another really awesome sustainability place on campus is our campus farm. We have a greenhouse, lots of vegetables and produce that we grow that actually go to some of the on-campus restaurants as well as the dining halls. So it's a really unique feature that UCCS is very proud of. But personally, my favorite part of the Upper Plaza is I like to tell jokes here. So I'll start you off with one. So there's two penguins chilling in a hot tub. And one of the penguins says, "Hey, could you please grab me the fish?" And then the other penguin says, "What do I look like? A butler?" I see a thumbs up. Thank you from the Office of Admissions. All right, I'll spare you my bad humor, and we'll just keep going. Thank you to everyone who's clapping. So we just walked straight through the Upper Plaza, and right now we've come into an area, into a building called the University Center. And the University Center, it's like the social hub of the campus. This panorama that we're seeing right now, we're in the Upper University Center. And so we have one of our 5 on-campus coffee shops here, as well as on the other side is one of our 2 on-campus restaurants called Cafe 65. We're actually going to be coming, if we were walking the campus tour, we'd be coming back through here to go and visit the library. But right now, though, we're going to go see the Lower University Center, which has a lot more of the experiential part of campus life. We're going to come back to this main panorama because I have some pictures that I want to show you first. So in the Lower University Center, we have a lot of really awesome social spaces. And first among them is the Student Life Office. And this is the picture that I have pulled up on the screen right now. The Student Life Office, first of all, it's home to our Student Government Association. I know a lot of people like to do that in high school. You can definitely still do that in college. Our UCCS radio station, you can see actually in the picture there. But then as well, it's just a really great place to just hang out. They have couches, they have a big bean bag. But then also on Tuesdays, this is a little secret tip for you. They usually have free hot dogs here in the Student Life Office. So keep your eyes peeled on campus on Tuesdays. The Student Life Office, though, they also is kind of establish and regulate all of our over 200 clubs and organizations here on campus. And we'll take another look at our club fair. There's a club fair every semester. So there's lots of opportunities to find that community of people that you really connect with. And there's clubs for pretty much everything you could imagine. There's food-related clubs. I know there's a picnic club that one of my friends actually started. And then there's technology-related clubs. There's a drone club. There's also a lot of kind of ethnic and cultural clubs as well. One of my good friends, he's a member of a club called Mi Gente, My People, which is the Hispanic student organization. And they put on a whole ton of awesome events themselves. And that actually kind of ties in to one of the other really awesome spaces in the Lower University Center. And it's called the Mosaic Office. Mosaic is actually an acronym, and it stands for the Multicultural Office for Student Access, Inclusiveness, and Community. It's a big, long acronym, but really what it means is that it's kind of like our on-campus diversity center. And that does include like cultural and ethnic diversity, but they also have resources for the LGBT plus community, and they have just a space for everyone there. So whoever you are, or like whatever your background is or your identity, the Mosaic Office is a great place to kind of start off in forming those connections. And then our final view here in the Lower University Center is actually our second on-campus restaurant. This is Clyde's. It's got a sit-down restaurant. You can think of it kind of like a Red Robin's. They have burgers, fries, tavern-y type food, but they also do a whole ton of awesome events. They have karaoke, they have trivia nights, they have game nights. I have another good friend that does stand-up comedy here on, I think it was Thursday nights this last semester. So I know a lot of students like to come here to grab a bite, especially when their parents come to visit, because it's a little bit more formal, but still has all the convenience of being on campus. And I'm not seeing any questions right now, so we'll just keep on moving. Feel free to raise your hands if you have any questions along the way. Excellent. So if you remember from when I told you about the Upper University Center, how there's an entrance to the library, we've just come right through there. So we're not far away from where one of our last panoramas was. And this part of the library that we're seeing right now, this is the group study spaces. And you can see there's a whole lot of people out here. And if you were on campus walking with us, you would hear there's people talking, socializing, having a good time with their friends. Unlike most libraries, you can eat and drink in the library. Please don't make a mess and like be super obnoxious, but you totally can if you want to. And aside from having books, kind of one of the main features of the library is that they host a lot of events. They have a lot of guest speakers come in. They have authors come and do readings from their books. And there's usually free food at all those events. Guacamole and cookies are pretty common. So it's always great to just walk through the library, see what's going on, because there's usually something. Another really big event that they do is, it's called Pause for Pause. And during finals weeks, they actually bring in therapy dogs to the library so students can like cuddle and de-stress with the dogs before all their big exams. It's super cool. But the library isn't just like a place for doing things. They have a lot of great resources and places. There's group study rooms. There's an abundance of computers. But then they also have a lot of really cool stuff that you can borrow from the library. You can borrow like phone chargers, books, of course, whiteboard markers, but then also you can borrow Wi-Fi hotspots or even a state park pass. It's like you can borrow the pass from the library and then go out and have a fun time for the weekend. So there's so many more really awesome things in the library besides just books and studying. All right. So we're gonna just power kind of like straight through the library, and we're gonna come right out on the other side if you're following along on your maps. And we're coming out into the upper plaza. This has probably some of the best views on campus. And of course, the whole campus, situated on top of the hill, has like spectacular views everywhere. But this is some of my favorites, because you have a lot of the trees and the statue. It's another place where I kind of like to tell jokes. And I'm sorry if you didn't come here for the jokes, but if you did, I don't want to disappoint you. So there's two large cats chilling in the bluff. And one of the large cats says, "I ate 40 deer yesterday." And then the other large cat says, "No, you're lying." Because we're like mountain lions. Thank you to everyone clapping your hands. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Awesome. All jokes aside, if we take a quick look around, we can see a couple of the other buildings. But I'd also like to take this time to ask you guys a question. You're going to see a poll come up on your screen just now, asking about what you're interested in studying in college. So I ask you to please take some time, answer the poll, and that'll give me kind of a good feel for who all is here. Wow, so there's kind of a lot of variety of people here today, which is really cool to see. Nobody interested in the sciences so far, which is fine. They just missed Centennial Hall. One more person who hasn't decided what they want to study yet. All right. Well, they might not be paying attention. So we'll stop right here. And I'll actually let you see the results of the poll, so you can get a feel of who's here too. So for my one engineering friend, our next stop is for you. We're going to be going straight up the hill to that building with the posts in front of it. Welcome to the engineering building. This building is home for our departments for computer sciences, electrical engineering, computer engineering, and math. So, no, for my two engineering friends, you'll likely have a lot of classes here. For everyone else, this is where you'd be taking your math classes. And for some people, that might be calculus, super easy, by the way, don't be afraid of it. College algebra, what have you. That's going to be up here in the engineering building. We're going to continue on, though. And we're going down kind of like that main sidewalk, away from the library, away from the engineering building. And we're going to Columbine Hall. For those of you that are not native to Colorado, or some of you that are and maybe just don't know, our state flower is the Columbine, and that's what this building is named after. And here we have our College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. And so this includes criminal justice, communication, history, English, basically all the different humanities. And I don't see that we have any humanities people with us today, but for our criminal justice friends, this would be your home. One cool thing that we can take a look at is there's a classroom picture that we have here. This is a little bit unconventional that you would see as far as classrooms on campus goes, as far as the layout, because normally there's kind of like long tables that have outlets and stuff on them for charging your computer. But this gives you a really good feel for about the size of the classroom. The average class size here at UCCS is about 25 students. And of course, that's an average. So you're going to have some classes that are bigger than that. You'll have some that are smaller. But this is pretty average to what you would see. My personal experience as like a day as a student at college, it's pretty straightforward and pretty calm, especially compared to high school. Because unlike high school, I'm not in class all day, every day. This last semester and next semester, I don't have any classes before 9:25. So I get to sleep in like every day, which is super nice. And then I come to school for my classes. Some people just leave after class is done. I don't recommend that because there's so much going on outside of classes on campus. I mentioned all the events that are going on at the library and at Clyde's. I really like to stay on campus when I'm not in school. Sometimes I work. I'm a tour guide, in case you didn't know that. So I like to give a lot of tours. But then I eat lunch. I socialize with friends. I usually have 2 or 3 classes over the course of a day. So it's still really nice. I have a lot of time for me and for socializing and really just enjoying the college experience outside of class. And then I go home. Sometimes I come back for events in the evening. Sports games are really fun. We're going to get to see a little bit of that later. But it's not as hard as I think high school teachers make it out to be. It's an inside tip. I see there's no questions right now, so we'll keep going. All right. Before we come into our next stop, I have another poll for you. It's going to be asking about where you all are coming from. So you're going to see that on your screen right now. Please take a moment or two to answer the poll. Just get kind of a feel for where everyone is coming from. Oh, there's a lot of variety today. That's cool. All right, and it looks like everybody's... Oh, we have all 19. Wow. So most of the people here are coming from Colorado today, but there's a lot of people coming from out of the state. And you've all probably heard this now, but in case you haven't, if anyone who's coming to UCCS, your freshman year, if you're not from Colorado Springs, you're going to be living on campus your freshman year. And so even if you are from Colorado Springs, a lot of people choose to live on campus. But we're actually going to get to see some of the on-campus housing. It's a little bit different than what I think most people see at other colleges. Now, here at UCCS, technically we don't have any dorms, not a single one, because all of our student living is suite style. And we're going to take a look at this first panorama here. And it almost looks kind of like an apartment. You can see there's a couple different bedrooms and then a communal living space. And this is what you would see throughout most of our housing here at UCCS. There's no big communal bathrooms that you're sharing with like 40 people. Gross. It's usually about 4 people together in a suite. 4 people would be living in this suite here. There's actually 2 double bedrooms, but there's also single bedrooms as well. And in a suite, you can have 0 roommates. It can just be you and your bathroom. But the very highest is 6 suite mates. But that's pretty uncommon. Like I mentioned, 4 is a really common number of suite mates. And then actually having looked at this suite right here, we've basically kind of seen half of all the different layouts because they're usually various combinations of doubles and singles. We have another panorama here that we're going to see. This is actually one of the 6-person suites. Like I mentioned, it's pretty uncommon, but this is like the very most people that you would have living together. You can see they have their bathroom, their bedrooms, kind of a communal living space. And the 2 different suites that we just saw, they're actually from 2 different housing areas at UCCS. And there's one area called Alpine Village, which is what we're seeing right now. But then the other residential area is called Summit Village. And I will say that Summit Village is a little bit closer. If you're following along on your maps, you can see that. But then Alpine is a little bit newer. The ceilings are a little bit higher. But then another trade-off that you want to think about when you're deciding where you want to live on campus is that here in Summit Village, where we're looking at right now, you get kind of more of the living room space. This little couch right here, the little love table and the chair. This is part of the suite that you'll find when you move in August, and hopefully what you'll see when you move out in May. Whereas here, coming back to Alpine now, they don't have quite as big of a space. And we're going to see one of the dining halls a little bit later, but right now, I want to point out the dining hall for Summit Village. It's called the Lodge. And I'll talk more about eating and on-campus food in the dining halls a little bit later. But this is kind of a teaser, if you will. Some quick rules, though, that I think are really important before we leave housing. There are no pets allowed in the resident halls, except for emotional support animals, service animals, or 1 permanently water-dwelling fish. I don't know what a not permanently water-dwelling fish is, but that's like how the rules are written. So just 1 fish has to stay in the water. All right, so we're going to move on now. Gonna go see one of the coolest places on campus, the Rec Center. We're gonna come back to this panorama a little bit later. It's a little bit out of order here. We'll start in the very front. So when you're on campus and you're walking to the Rec Center, this is what you'll see. And right here in the lobby as well, we have a place called our Wellness Center. Now, UCCS is really unique because we are the first college in the whole country to have incorporated all 5 aspects of wellness into one building. And that includes emotional wellness, mental wellness, physical health, recreation, and nutrition. And most of those aspects are concentrated within the Rec Center at the Wellness Center. And you can think of it kind of like an on-campus doctor's office. We have full staff of nurse practitioners, as well as a chiropractor, several emotional wellness counselors, as well as a dietitian to kind of service a holistic approach to your wellness and general care. Of course, if you break your leg, they're going to take you to a real hospital. But if you're like feeling sick, you can stop by the Rec Center and get that medical treatment that you want. So kind of continuing within the Rec Center, right now we're taking a look at one of the 4 indoor basketball courts at the Rec Center. And there's always 1 court set up at any point throughout the day for net sports like volleyball or badminton. But then if we continue and we go up, take a look at the 2nd floor of the Rec Center, we have a lot of our equipment and machines up here. And really, if you want to get like a great feel for just the magnitude of the Rec Center and how much stuff there is, please come and visit at some point when visits are allowed. But even in our modest pictures, you can see we have a lot of equipment and spectacular views from pretty much everywhere in the Rec Center. And so really the only way that you'd beat it is if you're actually running outside as opposed to running on the treadmills. But then, another really cool space is the Soul Center. And this is the panorama that we're seeing right now. When, of course, it has our on-campus rock wall. It's a full 2 stories. But the way cooler part of the Soul Center is that they take students on a whole bunch of awesome outdoor activities. Soul stands for the Student Outdoor Learning Experience, and they really live up to that name. They go skiing, they go climbing 14ers, mountain biking, skydiving, and spelunking. One of their biggest trips that they have is a big ski and snowboard trip in December. Take a bunch of students out to Monarch to go skiing for the day, and then they go to the hot springs afterwards. But for students, for like transportation, the lift ticket, admission to the slopes, admission to the hot springs, like all of it, it's just $85 to the students. And a lift ticket alone is normally more than $85. So it's just one of a whole bunch of really awesome opportunities that students can have with the Soul Center. We're also going to take a look at my personal favorite part of the rec center, and that is our swimming pools. We're going to take a look around. We can see there's a couple different pools actually here. We have a lap pool, like to swim in lanes, and at the end there's a water slide. And although it looks broken, it actually drops you out into the water. It's super fun. If you want to use it, all you have to do is talk to the lifeguards. But then as well, the circular pool, right now it's set up for water volleyball. But if you talk to the lifeguards, they can turn it into a whirlpool. And then, kind of going backwards in this direction, there's a lazy river type setup. And then in that far corner by the windows, there's actually a 20-person hot tub. I hear it's a great place to study because all of your tears just blend in with the water. That was a joke. Hopefully you're not crying. You don't need to be crying in the hot tub. But we do a lot of really cool intramural sports here in the swimming pool. My favorite is canoe battleship. And what they do is they take 4 canoes and they put you into the lap pool. They move all the lane guards out of the way. And they give you some Home Depot buckets and some pool fins. And you have to sink the other canoes by filling them up. It's so much fun. And way harder than it sounds, I might add. Because the water is heavy. But yeah, there's just so much to see and so much to do in the rec center. And it's worth pointing out that all the facilities here are free to students. The rec center, maintenance and all that, that's part of our tuition. So we don't have to pay every time we want to go and swim or lift weights. The only things that you would have to pay for at the rec center would be medical treatment at the wellness center, special adventures with the Soul Center, or as well, taking group fitness classes. You can get a pass for $25 to do all the group fitness activities you want for a whole semester. And they have a ton. They have a ton of offerings. They do yoga, interpretive dancing. They had kickboxing one semester. So it really is awesome opportunities, and it's a great resource for students. All right. Now we are going to continue. I teased a little bit earlier when we were seeing the housing about the other dining hall, and we're gonna go check that out right now. This is the Roaring Fork that we've just come to. This is the dining hall that services the people of Alpine Valley, and it's the newest dining hall on campus. Just taking a look around through the panorama, it's pretty nice, and it has fantastic views. One of the cool parts of living on campus is you get an unlimited meal plan to either of the 2 dining halls. So that's as much food as you want, all day, every day, wherever you want to eat. If you want to be a little bit closer to your classes, you eat at the lodge. Or if you just want to take your time, relax, you can enjoy the views here at the Roaring Fork. But another question that students often ask is, how is the food? And so It's pretty good, I'll say. I didn't live on campus my freshman year because I'm from Colorado Springs, but sometimes I get to go to the dining halls for special events and eat there, and it is a treat every time. It's so good. And you can see that here in this picture. Oh, it looks like we have a question, though. Madison, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi. So this is about the housing. I had to get a different mic because the other one didn't work.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't get the information for this. I might have and just not seen it. But when is the payment for housing due officially?
I don't actually know that. At the end, we're going to have an admissions counselor that you can ask that question to, and they'd be able to give you a better answer than I can.
Okay. And are classes going to be online due to COVID? Or are they still going to be in person?
The plan as of right now is that our classes are going to be on campus in person. Of course, things change pretty regularly, but as of right now, the plan is to be in person.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really great question. I'm sure everyone was thinking it. All right, cool. So just a reminder, don't hesitate to ask any questions that you might have. Real quick though, before we leave the Roaring Fork, I want to show you something that I think is really cool. Right in front of us, these are Smoothie Bikes. And what you can do is you can go through, there's a line actually right there where you can get like a smoothie cup, and there's fruit, yogurt, milk, and you can then put it on this bike here and pedal it, and it'll make a smoothie. It's super cool. But pro tip, they have ice cream here at the Fork. And you can get ice cream and put it in the blender and make a milkshake. Something to think about. All right. But we are going to keep going. Once again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to... Oh, speaking of questions, let's say Gabriella.
Hi, this is actually her mom. Sorry, I didn't know how to ask a question earlier. The gym, are you able to bring your own equipment and house it there?
Yes. The rec center does have lockers that you can borrow.
I mean, large workout equipment. She actually competes in a weird sport called strongman, so she has like some weird lifting equipment.
Well, the lockers at the rec center aren't terribly big. So if it's a big piece of machinery, probably not. You could keep that in your resident hall or at home. Maybe you could talk with the athletics department and maybe work something out. But
okay.
Yeah, it's a really good question.
Thanks.
Thank you. Awesome. So earlier, when we took the poll on what people's majors that they were interested in, I saw that we had some people that were interested in the visual and performing arts. Our next stop that we've come to is the Ent Center for the Performing Arts. I'll show you a good look at it. So even from the outside, everyone can tell it's a beautiful building. But this is home to our department for the visual and performing arts, more so the performing arts part. But it also has a lot of attractions to other students as well. They have a lot of plays that you can go and see as a student, totally for free. I went and saw a play called Gaslight. Actually, I had one of my friends, he was a star in it. It was really awesome. I'm so happy that I got to go and see it. And again, it was totally free for me as a student. But if you're interested in the visual performing arts, it's also such a cool facility. They have all these awesome recital rooms, places to have plays, do music, dance, it's a spectacular facility. And I really can't do it justice. So you have to go and see it in person. So, also right here, I'd like to point out before we leave, this is their main recital hall. And they also have a lot of big name, kind of like orchestra bands and musicians that also come through. It's a really great way to get some culture as a student. We're going to continue though. And so, we have a couple nursing and health sciences students here. And for all, if you're interested in health sciences, the Hibble Center is going to be predominantly your home. It's just right across the street from the Ent Center. And this is a brand new building. Like they're finishing building it as we speak. They have so much state-of-the-art technology there. It's so cool, as well as a lot of kind of commutative spaces to relax and just enjoy company with your friends outside of class. Let me shut my window. Someone's mowing their lawn. But yes, some of the other really cool features they'll have here in the Hibble Center. They have cadaver lab. It's like real human bodies that undergraduate students get to work on and actually see, as well as this really cool chamber where they can like simulate different altitudes to see how athletes perform at various altitudes. So if you're interested in health sciences, you have a really cool space that you'll be getting to use here coming in the fall. Now we're going to come back towards the main campus. If you're following on along on your map, you'll see that we're kind of moving backwards now from the route that we originally came. And we're going to be seeing my home, the Osborn Center for Science and Engineering. So Osborn, it is the largest academic building on campus, and it houses mechanical engineering, as well as physics and biology. And throughout this huge building, there's only 6 classrooms. So much of it is lab space. And we have some more pictures that we can take a look at. First off right here, this is one of the biology labs. And this is another really great example of students getting real like hands-on practice in their major field. But then, more on kind of the engineering side, a really cool facility that we have is the machine shop. And they have all sorts of fabrication equipment that are open to any students to use. Like if you want to learn how to build stuff on a lathe or weld, you can come to take classes doing that. Or if you're an engineer or like just a hobbyist and you know how to use the equipment, you can come in and use it. It's a super awesome facility. Here's a much better example of a classroom than the one that we saw earlier. This one has computers actually in it, but the desk layout that you see here is a little bit more representative of the layout that you would see across campus. Osborn is my favorite building. I think it has the best views out of any building, and it's some of the best places to relax and study. So now I also mentioned earlier about our basketball games and our sporting events. And I said that we'd be coming to that a little bit later. And we've now come back through the University Center where we were earlier. And we're going to see the Gallegly Event Center. This is the outside, but the inside is much cooler. So the Gallegly Center is where all of our men and women's court sports play. So that's men and women's basketball, as well as women's volleyball. They play and practice here. So you never have to fight the NCAA teams for time at the rec center, because they're here and they have their own court and their own facilities that they use. For anyone that's really interested in sports, We are NCAA Division II, but like we still have a really awesome sport program. We don't have a football team, but that's kind of a blessing, I think, because a lot of our other sports really get to shine more. Like, for example, we have 2 really big nights of sports every year, blackout night and a whiteout night. One's usually a basketball game, and one's usually a volleyball game. But droves of students come out, dressed in all black or all white to come out and support the team. There's cheering, there's good company, there's always free food. It's fantastic. And they usually have free t-shirts too. So, but then also, all of the home sporting events, totally free to students. So it's free to go, and there's food and stuff. There's no reason not to go. It's a fantastic time. It's the best. Once again, we're on the outside, and we can actually see where we were a little bit earlier in the upper plaza right there. And the upper university center is just right behind it. But we are going to go see something in the opposite direction. We have 2 people here that are interested in studying business. And so for you, my business friends, this is your home. Welcome to Dwyer Hall. And so this building is home to our business as well as sports management programs, which are really cool. And they also have another Excel Center here. And this is the Language Excel Center. So if you're taking any sort of language class, you can go to that Excel Center and get help in tutoring. Plus, they also host a whole ton of events. They have movie nights for like cultural films. It's super cool. But then even if you're not a business major, I highly recommend that you come and check out Dwyer Hall just because it is a beautiful building. We can see here even more spectacular views, but there's a lot of nooks and crannies that are really great for kind of studying in a little bit more quiet and secluded environment. You can check that out. But then one of the hidden gems of Dwyer Hall is a place called the Swing Lab. So there's one of the major programs that you can do is PGA golf management. And they have like this indoor driving range. It's super cool. Maybe that might convince some people to go and do sport golf management. But then a little bit more formal event that the College of Business puts on is they have a big career networking night that they do pretty frequently. We have a picture of that up here now. They bring in a lot of local companies to help students form connections so they can get kind of like a solid foothold in their career, like right out of college. And this isn't exclusive to business. The engineering school does a lot of these sort of events as well, even online. And I'm sure the same goes for all the rest of the major programs. All right. Continuing on, we're going to see one of the more historic buildings on campus. And this right now is Main Hall. A little bit of history for you guys. It is actually the first building that was built on what would become Uccs. And it used to be a sanatorium. So people from all over the world would come to Colorado Springs to be treated for tuberculosis. And while it was a functioning sanatorium, people actually used to sunbathe naked on the roof of Main Hall. Now we only do that on Saturdays, though. That's a joke. Yeah, we don't sunbathe naked. But on a more serious note, though, oh, these are the Dwyer pictures. On a more serious note, Main Hall is home to all of our academic advisors. And this is their main lobby right here. Our academic advisors are really good at helping you guys all figure out how to navigate your major, what classes to take, so that you can kind of maximize your time in college and the academic side of your experience. Plus, all the advisors are super nice. They're all very knowledgeable. More history for you. Their lobby right now, it actually used to be the cafeteria in the old Cragmore Sanatorium. Next up, this isn't really an academic building, but Cragmore Hall, which is adjacent to Main Hall. This is home to all of the student employment, financial aid, and the Office of Admissions people. So basically everyone that deals with money is here in Cragmore Hall. And if any of you guys come to see us for a tour in person, this right here is where you're going to be starting your tour. We'll take a look inside too, see the main lobby. The front desk workers are also students, so they're usually really good at helping you guys figure out and navigate the admissions experience. So it can be like pretty tricky sometimes. Now our final building that we're going to be seeing today is for all of our nursing people. We're going to keep going on our map down the road towards University Hall. So also, quick disclaimer, a lot of the College of Education classrooms are also here in University Hall. So this would also be largely where our education friend, where you would have your classes. But nursing is a really awesome program here at UCCS. They have really top-notch facilities. Our other picture that we have here for University Hall is of the simulation labs. And so the nursing students, when they're not out doing their clinicals in real hospitals, they're still getting a lot of that experience, but working with, they're called mannequins, but I don't think that's the right word. They're closer to robots. They bleed, they have tears, they sweat. I've been told that they pee. They're more realistic than some of the people I know. And so it's just so cool. I kind of wish I was a nursing major just to get to play with all the fun toys that they have. But again, just a really awesome place. And this concludes all of the buildings that we're going to be seeing today. And before we kind of go to general questioning and answers, I want to leave you guys with my experience of coming to UCCS. I came from a really small high school here in Colorado Springs. There were only about 30 or so people in my graduating class, and almost none of them came here to UCCS. I thought that I'd largely be on my own going through my college experience, but that could not be further from the truth. The community is so inclusive and so welcoming. Everyone is so friendly. And the teachers, the professors, they're really concerned about you actually learning material rather than just getting good test grades. I am very satisfied with my decision to come here to UCCS, and I hope that each and every one of you can find that same satisfaction, even if it's not here at UCCS. But I do hope to see you all one day as mountain lions. Thank you so much for coming and joining us for our virtual tour today. If you're interested in seeing a little bit more of what the campus has to offer, there's another really great YouTube video that has a UCCS tour. If you just search on YouTube, UCCS virtual tour, it'll be the first thing that comes up. And I'll give you some more angles and things. But
Thank you, Brad.
Yes.
Sorry. I just want to make sure that people know that they can stay to ask any questions. Very quickly, my name is Ariadna Kaufman. I work in the Office of Admissions. I'm one of the assistant directors, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Or if you have questions for Brad or Seth, if you want to come on camera as well. Seth is another one of our student ambassadors, or as we call them, Clyde's guides. We'll be happy to answer those. I would like to start by answering I think it was Madison, if I'm not mistaken. There was a question about how classes are going to be held this fall. And as our leadership team continues to see what the guidelines, the health guidelines are, I will tell you that as of right now, we are planning on starting the fall semester with in-person classes, maybe not all of them. They are trying to evaluate what classes they would give priority to be held in person, and then what classes it would be okay to have online. So we're looking at a model of hybrid classes for the fall. Which classes are going to be online, which classes are going to be held in person, we don't know yet. But this is something that they are, working continuously, and as soon as they know, they will let students know. Another question was about the housing payment. So if a student is going to be living on campus, you should have done a deposit of $600. And of that, $200 go for a deposit that will be returned to the students when they move out after 1 year of living there, as long as there's no big damages to the room. $100 is applied as a fee just for, processing. And then $300 are going to be applied to your tuition bill. So students don't have, they're not losing that money per se. It's just $300 just moves to the tuition bill. In terms of paying for classes, that doesn't happen until, or it has to happen by census date. So the way it works is once students attend orientation, that's where they enroll for classes. And once they have their class schedule, a bill gets generated. Now you have until the bill is generated until census date to pay for those classes. Census date this year, this fall, is going to be on Thursday, September 10th. And that is about 2.5 weeks into the semester to give students the opportunity that if they want to drop a class, add a class, switch classes, or even drop everything, or all the classes and go to a different university, that is totally fine, and they will not be losing any money. Okay, so with that, please go ahead and ask any questions you may have.
I was just wondering if test scores are going to be optional if you're applying for the fall of 2020 or spring.
Yeah, that's a great question that we have been getting a lot. As of right now, no, they're not going to be optional. We know that I think it's College Board, they're planning on offering at schools like 1 day of testing. And so at this point, we are still requiring test scores to get into UCCS for fall 2021.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
When are the house payments due?
Yeah, so when you fill out the housing application, we are asking for a $600 deposit fee. And like I explained, there's 3 components to that. So the only thing that you have to pay up front is the $600. And then the balance you will be paying by census date with your tuition bill.
So we just pay the housing bill on top of the census date?
So the housing bill would be on top of your tuition and fees bill. Yes.
Okay, and when is it due on the census date?
Yes. The other thing to know is that if you need assistance with the payment, you cannot pay the full amount by census date, you can contact our bursar's office, and we do have the option of payment plans. So just contact the bursar's office, and you know, you can arrange with them what payment plan you want to be on.
Okay, because the website said that in order for me to finish my housing application that I have to give these $600 in.
Correct. The $600 are upfront, and that basically is to reserve your space in housing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question about financial aid. At what point or where does the student receive information on any financial aid that was earned?
Yes.
Yes.
So once the student is admitted and they have access to their student portal, they can go to their student portal, and there's going to be a tab there that says financial aid. So as long as they have claimed their account, they will be able to go in there, and then under financial aid, they can see how much aid they have been awarded, and they need to take action on that. They need to accept or decline whatever financial aid they were awarded, but they need to tell us what they are going to accept. And then let me think. So once the bill is generated and the student has accepted their financial aid, then that will be applied to the bill so that the student knows, okay, so how much money do I have to pay by census date?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any questions for Brad or for Seth? If you can't think of any questions right now, that's okay. Just know that we are working remotely, probably all the way through July, but we are available by email. Just go ahead and email go@uccs.edu. If you have questions, if you need help with anything, that's, you know, a really good email address. And we are also returning phone calls from home. So if you want to call our main number, all this information, of course, is on our website. So you can go ahead and leave a voicemail, and we try to return voicemails within 24 hours. We also on our website have the option of scheduling call appointments. So if you want to talk with an admissions counselor and, you know, ask anything, you can schedule a call appointment. And if you want to talk to one of our current students, also Clyde's guides, you can request that as well through a call appointment. So we have really a lot of different ways for you to contact us so that we can help you. One last thing, we will be sending an email to all of you as a thank you for attending this meeting. And that email will have the link to 2 YouTube videos that are part of our virtual tour. One is a video of housing, and where you can hear a little bit more about the experience of some of our residents, as well as a video of the rec center and all the services that we offer through there. I know we are past 3 o'clock, so if you need to go, you're welcome to go. If you have, if you're thinking of a question you want to ask, we'll stay on for maybe a couple more minutes.
Thank you to everyone who came, and thank you for paying attention.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
I was wondering, is your athletic training program a 6-year program or a 5-year program?
Can you repeat your question?
Is the athletic training program that UCCS offers a 6-year program, or is it an accelerated 5-year program?
Oh, okay. The athletic program, if I am not mistaken, we are going to be doing a 5-year program.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Hi, I was just wondering, we've been on some college tours where they give you a coupon to use at the bookstore. I know the bookstore, we can't come there to buy a shirt, but they'll mail them to you. Do you guys offer anything like that after a tour?
Well, thank you for that question, because we do give bookstore coupons for our in-person tourists, and I had not even thought about, you know, doing that for a virtual tour. So I think that's a great idea. So we have a list of all of you that attended, and I just need to figure out how to send that coupon over and how would that work. But I think that's a great idea.
Thank you. We've been trying to get there, obviously, for a couple of months and can't. So I would appreciate a coupon. We'll buy a sweatshirt. Thank you.
Definitely. Yes, I will make a note of that.
I'm going to stop recording, if that's all right.
Oh, yes.